Welcome to Psychic Girls Next Door. We are your hosts, Shannon Miller
and Lili. This podcast is for all spiritual enthusiasts and psychics next door to share tools, experiences, and spiritual practices that align with your highest vibrational self.
In this episode, we will be talking about our first Reiki Share that we hosted a few weeks ago and a mid-year energetic review. So what does that really mean? Talking about lessons we are currently learning, any trends or growth patterns we might be experiencing, any new self-discoveries. But I would love to just dive into, sharing about our Reiki Share. And
that was so fun.
It was so fun. Yeah. There were a few of us that showed up, and it was our first time just hosting that in general. So figuring out, trying something new can be challenging in general. So it felt very validating for us to just do that and host our first event. Even if it was a small turnout, I felt very validated in the moment, and being able to provide healing and exchange healing with other people, that was super, super rewarding and valuable. What do you think? What do you think of our first Reiki Share?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So if you're not familiar with the Reiki Share, it's basically us as Reiki practitioners, or if you had some Reiki training, we trade Reiki on each other. And, we rented a space where we basically, when you're receiving Reiki, you are laying down, hopefully on some sort of a massage table. And we kind of set it up in a way that I felt very comforting. We had, just a handful of people. I mean, I would be happy if one person showed up.
Oh, yeah.
I would be thrilled. And for us, I think it was not only validating, but it was also something that was very healing too, at least for me. It felt healing because us as healers, we are used to always facilitating and giving healing. So it was nice to also receive in a way, because we don't always have the chance to receive. So it was nice to connect with others. They're kind of like-minded too. And also receive the Reiki. I thought it was awesome just to be in the space where we were able to network, we were able to practice our Reiki abilities, receive it, and hopefully we'll host some more.
Yeah,
events.
definitely. Yeah, now that I feel like we have a good process and flow of what we need to do and how to properly facilitate a Reiki Share, it seems pretty easy. It seemed like it was a good experience for everybody who attended, and it was nice to get to know new people and make friends in this space of, being spiritual and being open to spirituality and being a Reiki practitioner, and being able to build that sense of community. And that's the whole point of this podcast, to create information and create resources for people and just, or information about resources for others.
Yes, Reiki being just one of the many different possibilities and tools that we can use to not only connect, but to facilitate healing for others too. Yeah. And I felt very, privileged to be in the space of being a Reiki Share. But we also, I think in the past, as we got also psychic readings and energetic readings, I remember some of the psychics telling both you and I, oh, you guys have to host a Reiki Share.
Yeah. So that felt super validating.
Yeah, because that looks really appropriate and healthy in your space. So I thought it was really cool to actually manifest that.
Yeah. It was definitely something that was on our spiritual bucket list. That
check.
Yeah. And now we can keep doing it and building upon that. And I think it's going to be a fun journey for us to go through together. And it's a really rewarding. If you are a Reiki practitioner and want to come to our next one, please reach out to us, because we're starting to plan the next one and hopefully to build, a sense of community around that in San Francisco specifically.
Or follow us on social media too, because we post stuff like that. And you can just follow on any updates or upcoming events. Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. Yeah. Hopefully, August is probably like our goal.
Yes.
But yeah, it was, I can't even remember what came up, because how information can come up when you're exchanging Reiki. I must have cleaned it out so good that I just cannot remember like what came up in my suit. I think something related to like stress and like in my body. I do remember she mentioned the Reiki practitioner who I did an exchange with. She mentioned my my shins, and then she sent me like this like body graph like picture about like what pain in your shins represents, and I had sent it to my friend. So let me just like it was interesting. Let me just pull it up really quickly. And so the body graph, so the thing, it was like fear of others not accepting my power.
Wow.
Which I thought was so interesting. And I feel like I've been experiencing that at work. Like I keep being told like I'm in a very powerful position, and like I don't really care about power. I care about spiritual power and energetic power, but I don't care about like, this capitalistic power structure that we're in. Like that doesn't motivate me at all. Like I don't align with that energy. I want like, higher information. I want like a deeper understanding of the human being and like what motivates people and how people can be free to connect. That's kind of what drives me. But
so she was spot on.
She was spot on. Yeah. Yeah. And then my wrists kept coming up as well. Early childhood trauma with females.
Oh,
love that.
We have unpacked this in some of our past episodes. So if you want to learn more about it, you can just like go back.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to look at the graph and see.
That's so interesting.
If there was anything like, relevant to what every Reiki practitioner is different. But we'll have to like send, we can hyperlink this graph or even post the graph on our Instagram, because it's really, really fascinating. And it gives you a lot of like deeper, I don't even think like power or fear of people being afraid of my own power would be in my shins. Like I never thought that would be a thing. And I didn't even feel anything physically in my shins, but it's interesting the information that you can pick up on when you are practicing Reiki on other people. It can just be very like subconscious and subliminal. But what came up for you when you received the Reiki?
I don't even remember it either. I think, and again, it probably also made really good energetic separations. And and I'm someone that whatever came through, I would just kind of let the information come through and just let my spirit and body just take it in. I know that a lot of people, they might take notes, they want to record it. I am not one of those people.
Yeah.
I just allow the information to come through and just kind of
settle.
If it needs to stay, it will stay. If not, it will just kind of move it. But I think it had to do something with my like the area of my shoulders, around that area. I want to say the upper arm. And according to the graph, it's something about like nurturing or never receiving like nurturing energy from like mom and dad, or like by the parents, by the caregivers.
Oh, wanting or undeserving of nurture by mom.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's what it came up. I can't remember clearly what it was, but whatever. When I exchanged the healing, I could feel the energy moving, like right there and then with the person that I did my exchange with. So that was very validating. And I've noticed that after also we hosted an event, it feels like so empowering to be in the space.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my gosh, I hosted an event. Like, how awesome is that? It's just kind of creating the sense of like community.
Yeah.
With people. And just really stepping into the space where you were facilitating also this practice for others as well. And we had, I think on social media, we did have people that unfortunately were not able to attend. And they're like, oh, we want to attend the next one. I'm like, okay, well, that's very validating. That's great that people want to join us. And they trust us to facilitate you know, the space, the hold space for people.
Yeah.
You know, so I love that.
Yeah.
So I think this is also, you know, kind of ties in with us going to this mid-year energetic review, because I think it's important for us to like sit back and reflect what we've been trending on
and acknowledge like on all the growth and the progress we've made, and also pay attention to things that you wanted to do that you really haven't paid any attention to.
Yes, it's a great instead of like waiting until the end of the year,
right,
to like look and like and review what has, which is great too. Right. It's a great practice, but I think it's always good to kind of check in with yourself throughout the year, throughout the days and the months. But I think like a mid-year, it's kind of nice to also like, okay, I have like another 6 months ahead of me, or like a semester. Yeah. If I need to make any adjustments. Yeah. Do I need to fine tune anything? It's kind of like if you drive a car. Right. You know, you drive a car and it's great, but once in a while you do want to kind of, you know, do a checkup.
Yeah, you got to get your oil changed and your wipers replaced.
Yeah, you do have to, you know, fine tune your car to make sure that it's running properly. And I think it's the same thing with us. Sometimes we get caught up in our daily lives and work and all this stuff, because stuff is always going to be happening because that's life. But it's always healthy to just pause and just assess what is working, what is not working. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, I think the biggest thing, oh man, this year has been intense. Let me just start off by saying that. Yeah. I don't know if it has been for everyone, but 2023 so far has been energetically just like, I feel like I've been in space, just, trying to like navigate all the unknown and new things and changes. And it's interesting how you notice that changes also come preceded sometimes with some chaos or confusion. Mm-hmm. And I think my life has been a little bit like that lately. So a lot of like shifts and movement, a lot of movement. And then there's part of me that is freaking out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm like terrified. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But there's part of me that's like, okay, yes, let's do this. Yeah. I don't know how to be ready. I'm just going to be ready.
Yeah. Just be open to being in a position to be in change. And I mean, I think we talked a little bit about this on the last episode, but just like resistance to change is real. And like, you know, when you feel like you're like, for me this year, I think I had like goals of shifting my physical energy, but then I got a job that doesn't really let me do that. Or I feel, or maybe that's a narrative or a picture that I have a job that doesn't let me like focus on self-care, and like I have to constantly be part of like, you know, that's my main goal of being successful. Like, oh, got a new job. And when you take on something new, right, in general, whether it's a new job, a new relationship, a new project, you put a lot of your energy and your focus into it. But then it gets not that it gets old, but like you get used to it. You create routines, you create frameworks that work for you, and then you don't feel new anymore. And for me, it's been very challenging to be able to feel like I'm not new anymore. And like, there's always something new to learn, or like contacts that I'm completely missing out on, or just like, wait, what's going on over there? And like that constant like thrash of like that chaotic, you know, like having to feel like I constantly have to pay attention to it. So therefore I'm like fully on, you know, guard dog watch with that. And then not being able to pay attention to the other elements of my life that I really want to. Like, my cat has been mad at me. She, like, because I come home late And
Well, she's just expressing
I
to
know,
you.
yeah.
I think it's kind of projecting to
totally.
like how you're feeling about it.
Oh, yeah. I'm not
and
feeling happy about
how
it.
she's feeling about the situation.
Oh,
so I
yeah.
think it goes both ways.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I think it's time for me to make a shift, whether that's, shifting my habits. I think that's really where it starts. Like being able to shift, like go back to my original intention, being able to pour into my cup, being able to, have my cat. I have my cat, but I'm never able to spend time with her. And then she's mad. And then when the time we do have, like, it's lovely and great, but when it's limited and it feels limited.
Yeah, it's more about quality.
It's quality
time with her. But I think it's easy for us to also get caught up in this conversation or narrative that's like, insert here like some blame or guilt feeling that either we're not doing, we should be doing, or we didn't do it, and then blame ourselves and then move on, but you're not really assessing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you kind of create this like snowball effect of just like, oh, this is not happening, but then I wanted to fix it, but then other things happen in the way. And then when you want to go back and actually kind of assess that, it became much bigger. So it became like a much larger snowball.
Yeah.
So I think it is helpful just to pause now.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Literally,
it's not like
everything.
It's just like pause it. Like not tomorrow, not the next, like right now, pause it and just kind of, I would say like, just take an inventory of things. How is your body feeling? How are your energy levels? Are you feeling any sort of joy in your life? What is bringing you joy lately? Do you feel joy at all?
Right. Are you able to feel, tapping into your feelings?
Yeah.
Like, are you avoiding them?
And what is it that you feel like it's calling you? But you're not going to be able to assess any of this information in a chaotic or crowded or loud environment. You do have to pause and find yourself or create a space where there's stillness and quiet. And you don't have to like go into a retreat in the middle of, some like isolated forest or go to Bali. None of that.
That all sounds great.
That sounds amazing. If you can do that, hey, good for you. Invite me. I'll come to you.
Yeah.
But anyway, but you can do like right where you are.
Yeah.
On your couch. Sitting on a chair in front of your desk, wherever you are, in your car. I sometimes do it in my car too. Like I'm sitting in my car, just like sometimes I'll just like I close my eye and I just breathe.
Oh yeah, that's always like the best feeling.
Yeah,
I've been running around all day, and, you just, maybe it's a little cold outside, and you just go in your warm car, and you're like, I'm in a bubble of silence.
Yes.
It feels amazing.
Oh, it's just so nice. Yeah. You give yourself that energetic blanket, or just like pausing, just reconnect with yourself and just take a deep breath and say, oh, hello, where have you been all day?
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yourself. Yeah.
It's the same thing that you would like say to a friend or like a good friend, oh, I worried about you. Are you okay? And I think it's the same kind of conversation that it would be helpful to have with ourselves. Just pausing, just checking in with yourself. Okay, like what do you need right now? Do you need water? Do you need maybe a snack?
Yeah.
What do you need? And just kind of honoring that need. And it doesn't have to be anything big or, dramatic. It's just something small that you need at that moment. So I think it's just important just to do this. Maybe not a mid-year, but a mid-pause.
Yeah.
Throughout your day, I think it also helps too. But kind of in the same note too, one other thing that I've been working on, or what I've been learning, and that's a better word, about self-expression, for me has been a big theme this year. If you had told me that even 6 months ago that I would be recording a reel to post it on Instagram, I'll be like, you're out of your mind. No.
Yeah.
No. And no.
Yeah. And now you're doing it.
And now I'm doing it. Like, I even got a tripod with a ring light. Who am I?
I love that.
Who is she? Look at her.
Influencer.
Yeah, totally. I'm just like embodying the influencer content creator life. I never thought in a million times that I would be in the space where I actually feel comfortable doing it. And I think I came to the point where I don't care.
So validating.
That is such a free space to be like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like the degaffing, like being able to just post freely. And like, I mean, I've started posting with you a lot less than you have, but
check us out, guys.
Yeah, we have a TikTok, we have an Instagram.
And we do share some really good nuggets.
Yes. Yeah.
No one wanting to toot our own horns. Toot toot.
Yeah. But our goal is to share like nuggets of wisdom that kind of we're experiencing live so that you don't have to wait for an episode or it can just be on on the journey with us. But that's so validating because I remember you're like, oh, I don't know how I feel about video. And this, November last year.
Yeah. Like when when we started this podcast and I was, I feel comfortable with audio.
Yeah.
It's because you're kind of hiding behind a microphone. People don't really see you. And we did discuss about like recording more videos. And we did like a video for around the holidays. But I just never thought that I would come into a space where I actually have the courage or had the courage to actually do it. But I think it always, of course, it happens when you're ready and when you're open for this type of changes. But again, like it comes with inner work. And, really being aware that sometimes you do have to do things that might be uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. For a lot of people, this is terrifying. It was terrifying. It's still terrifying in many levels for me, too. It's not everybody that is comfortable with just like having your face like all over social media and talking on social media. Not everyone is open to doing it. But I think it's the space where if you want to make changes and if you want to really push yourself to the next level, you have to step out of your comfort zone. Yeah. And I know it's very comfy, but it's nice to stay there. Yeah. But as we know it, nothing happens in the comfort zone. So you do have to nudge yourself out of that zone. I mean, it doesn't have to be as, kind of like how I did it, where I'm like, I'm like speaking and talking and, being on social media. It can be just something small. Yeah. Where you just kind of challenge yourself. Okay, what's the next thing that I can do so I can either shift the situation or I can just go up the next chapter, the next level. Could maybe taking a class. Maybe
that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. Learning more, another skill. Mm-hmm. Maybe it is, I don't know, reading a book. Yeah. Listening to a podcast like this one.
Right. Listening to an audiobook too. Yeah. Like anything that changes your routine. Like for me, this constant like goal of changing my physical routine. I have gone on a few morning walks, so that has been validating.
Oh, nice.
Getting my ass up has been the most challenging thing ever because I am not a morning person. But lately, I've been having to travel, and it's been kind of changing up my time zone. And so being able to like come and kind of take advantage of that to springboard me into waking up before a certain time so that I can take care of my body and movement. Whatever that is, whether it's a walk, whether it's doing like an Ava Fitness dance video. Yeah. Ava Fitness is like, she's awesome. Check her out on YouTube. We can hyperlink her stuff, but just something that changes up your routine. And I get a lot of joy from feeling like a silly fool doing those videos. And like, if my sister comes in and we start laughing at each other or, something that makes you feel like you're doing something for yourself. And that's for me, like the whole point of living. Like you have to do something for yourself.
Yeah. It has to be something that brings you joy.
Yes.
Man, life is so challenging.
Right.
I mean, if if we don't bring joy in, no one's going to do it for you.
No,
because joy, sometimes you have to create for yourself.
You do have to create your own joy, and you have to figure out like what brings you joy. And like, if you feel like your routine has been kind of stale this year, now's the time to mix it up. Like,
yeah, a great time to like, oh, okay, we're ready. June, July. I mean, we're recording this in June, but you might be listening to this in July. Okay. I still, have some time to shift things around a little bit. And again, like, it's never too late for anything in life. And you have to do it. If you don't do it for yourself, no one is going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the baseline of things. And if you say like, oh, I'm just going to wait, and there's never going to be the right moment for things, because the right moment is right now.
Right.
And you're never going to be fully ready, because there's no such thing as being ready for things.
I love that. Let's go back to that. This, what you just said, the right moment is right now.
It is right now. It's exactly where we are, because there's not going to be like the red light, green light.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Now you go. No, it is. You just do it. You just create that moment. And that, because the only moment that we have is this present time.
Yeah.
So just thinking about what is happening like right at this moment that is working and
not working.
Not working. It is again like sorting things through or decluttering your space. I literally went even with social media, because all of us are on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I declutter my social media once in a while. Accounts that I follow, I unfollow them. People that were following me, I've also like removed that. It's just things like that.
Any noise, any extra noise, anything that's going to clog your vision quest for yourself, like whatever it is. Like I like to I've started following a lot of like YA authors and TikTokers who review YA books, because that's what I want to bring into my space. And this is like the perfect time to talk about.
I feel ignorant. What is YA?
Young adult.
Oh, young adult. Yeah, okay.
Yes. No.
I didn't go that far. I thought it was a title.
No. The genre of young adult. So, because I've started writing my book series that I really want to finish. And at the beginning of the year in January, I remember telling my coworkers like, oh, I really want to finish my first book by the end of the year. I have nowhere near that. And it is June. So that's like, how can I shift that and create more time in my routine to dedicate myself to being creative, which brings me joy, and just creating space for myself and creating space for like new ideas to flow in. What do I need in order to do that? Quiet. I need space.
Prioritize.
Time. Yeah. And be better at time management and prioritization of self-care. And for me, being creative and doing this book for myself is the way that I'm going to feel like I'm taking care of myself. Yeah.
Well, but I think it's great that you are aware of that.
Yeah.
I think everything starts with just becoming aware, and then think about what's the next step that I can take for this to actually become a reality, or for you to manifest whatever it is. Because if you're not aware, then,
right,
you just don't know even where to start. But it's just you might want to look at it and say, okay, my intention now is to dedicate maybe an hour per week, even if that is to just writing. So what do I need in order to do that? So you have to like think of small steps in order to create that habit too, But sometimes you might even need to put that in your schedule, like your calendar, like literally like block that time on your calendar to actually do it, because, we have busy lives. Yeah. And there might be a way of doing it.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great suggestion. But yeah, like, so looking at the next 6 months ahead, like, what do you want to accomplish? Like, and you specifically, Lili, like, what are you looking to,
that's a big question.
Yeah. You don't have to have all the answers now.
Yeah, we're in the hot seat today, guys. Right. yeah, I feel that I just want to keep expanding
Yeah.
on whatever I have already been trending since the beginning of the year, which is about self-expression and being aligned with being authentic. And the things that I create and I post, I've been also growing, I think, a lot around discovering that I enjoy social media. Creation, content creation, design and things like that. It's something that was very dormant and now it's kind of came a little bit more to the surface. So I've been enjoying, growing in that business and field. Also, I want to say, I don't know, I think like work-wise, there's a lot of shifts that has been happening in my life. So I'm kind of open to see where life takes me next. So we'll see. Maybe on the next episodes, I'll share, what comes next in my life.
Yeah.
Because right now, honestly, I just don't know.
Yeah.
And it's okay not to know.
It is okay not to know.
It's kind of scary.
It's scary, but just give yourself permission to be open to receiving something new.
Absolutely. Just let the universe amaze me. So I'm going to, just like create space for that to happen. So I'm in a space where I'm just really want to follow my intuition with things and where things are calling me and taking me and what resonates with me and what doesn't. Yeah. So that's kind of like overall, like I want to say that's where I am. But what about you?
I think like going back to my original plan and maybe sticking to a plan. I think sticking to the plan of being able to create more space for myself. Like I have this, this is great. Like this podcast, it kind of checks off my spiritual bucket, and I want to pour in more into my creative bucket, whether that bleeds into the podcast, which is also kind of creative, but mainly to be able to sit down and write and get these thoughts out and get the story out on paper that I have had in my head for 10 years, and being able to properly do that and be more consistent. I think being more consistent with habits, sometimes I'll just go fully off the rails of whether it's not eating healthy or typically I'm pretty good with my what I consume in my body, but it's just been okay, we're gonna eat pizza, and then I'm oh my god, I had just bread yesterday, whether it was a pretzel, and I started with a bagel, and I'm oh my god, there's no vegetables, so sometimes I'd fall off the rails if my routine is disrupted. So being able to create a safety net of when I feel my routine is disrupted, how can I make sure that my healthy habits are still in place? Whether that's eating healthy, whether that's, making sure I move my body once a day, checking off the categories that make me feel self-love, whether that's, one, brushing and flossing my teeth at night, and at least brushing in the morning, that makes me feel I am ready for the day. And it can be as simple as that. And I've been brushing and flossing my teeth every night since I was 8 years old. And that's something that I really pride myself in. I know that's so weird and so specific, but that's a habit that I created early on because I knew that it was going to benefit me in some way. And so I need to kind of go back to that original framework that I instilled when I was 8, even if it's related to, brushing. How can I take that teeth brushing and teeth flossing framework and apply it to other areas of my life with the same amount of diligence? Because when I don't floss my teeth at night, I feel just a garbage gutter, internally.
Well, it's interesting that you talking about that because it's also, I think, very connected to how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Because once you create also that feeling in your body and how this also regulates your nervous system, then you associate that. Oh, it makes me feel clean. It makes me feel accomplished.
Reset.
Reset. Yeah. It makes me feel like I conquered the day. I've achieved, like, whatever.
Satisfying
Oh,
plus.
yeah, like, yes.
Yeah.
Sparkly whiteys.
Right.
But I think it's also looking at that, because if you see something as a chore, it's going to become a chore. If,
Oh, yeah.
So you kind of have to shift also the perspective. If like for a lot of people already, when they talk about working out, they're dreading. I'm like, that's going to be a dread.
Oh, yeah. You're going to match that energy.
Yeah. Of course it's going to be awful.
Yeah.
Because you're already dreading that. Yes. But you have to think about, like, how can you make the experience a little bit more fun?
Yeah.
Say, like, for example, movement, and then just find, you've mentioned, like, you like the dance workouts. Okay, do more of that.
Yeah.
Because anytime you're going to think about working out, you're going to associate that with joy and fun, and it's just because something that you look forward to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I see how I work out. There are parts of me that maybe doesn't feel like working out that day, and that's normal because you're tired or whatever. But then I always think, like, gosh, I always never had a workout that I didn't enjoy. I always feel like I feel good afterwards. I feel healthy. I feel energized. So it's always reconnected to the feeling. How does it make you feel?
Yeah.
In a way. So important to also look at the energy of that, of bringing joy and bringing, something that, makes you even, like, you get giddy about it. Oh, yes, or maybe you can even, like, think about it. Well, I worked out, so of course I deserve a treat.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
So you don't have, like, this, like, feelings of feeling guilt.
Restrictive. Yeah.
Limited and guilt and shameful, so, and you're human too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you got to give yourself grace.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we appreciate you listening to our mid-year review and how to give yourself your own mid-year review, your energetic review, whatever you want to call it, and just check in with yourself. Check in with, what have you done? What do you feel proud of? What haven't you done that you wanted to do? And start shifting the energy around. How can you create more space for you to focus on those things?
Yeah. Hopefully this was inspiring for you to also create your inner checklist.
Your inner checklist.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
Just a spiritual checklist. It doesn't have to, you don't have to check off all the boxes.
No.
But it's more for you to just become the better version of yourself.
I love that.
But share with us. What are you working on? What are you learning? What would you like us to? Do you want us to host an event like this, or
like a workshop?
Would you like us to maybe expand more on this topic? So send us your suggestions. Connect with us on social media. We love hearing feedback and new ideas, suggestions. So get in touch with us. And we look forward to our next episode. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much from the Psychic Girls Next Door. See you next time.